Hey, everybody, and welcome to the show. You are listening to Open Mic here on WJR. I'm Johnny Kane with Sportscaster.com, and I feel like we have a really good show laid out for you today. I probably say that every week, but I really do feel like today's going to be a lot of fun. One of the things we're going to talk about and talk to are a couple of young men who actually played the role of Sparty, the famous mascot at Michigan State University. The life of a mascot, the life and times of a mascot. You live in relative anonymity for the duration of your college career, but now that these two young men have graduated, they have revealed their identity to one of our Sportscaster.com students. So that's going to be coming up in a later segment. And also, we're going to dive into the era of the NBA super team. Is that era over? If you look at the conference finals right now, the way it lays out, we're going to have our seventh new NBA champion in the last 7 seasons, and that hasn't been done before. So we'll get into that topic as well. But I want to start with baseball because we love baseball on this show. Typically, we talk Major League Baseball, but we love high school baseball. And Ayden Novak from Lake Orion High School, Sportscaster.com contributor, joins the program now, a baseball player yourself. How exciting is this race to East Lansing here as we enter into the postseason?
It's thrilling, man. I love this. I was a part of it last year. The road to East Lansing is always just so thrilling, and I can't wait for it to get started.
So you're going to lay out for us some of the teams to watch, but also some sleeper picks, because I think, as you know, as an athlete, when you get to the postseason, anything can happen, right? I mean, that's kind of the beauty of what makes postseason baseball so fun.
Exactly. Everything's off the table. Everybody's record is 0-0. Win and move on, lose you're done. I love that kind of baseball.
All right. Is there any team, without giving it all the way right here? Uh, so you're going to give us the 5 teams to watch and maybe 5 sleepers, or maybe some under the radar teams. Is there a team on there that may surprise some people?
There might be a couple with the categories that they're in. Yes, there's going to be a couple shockers for sure. Mainly in the sleepers category.
All right. All right. Love to hear it. All right. Well, without further ado, I know you've got your finger on the pulse with all things high school baseball with the MHSAA playoffs underway. So here is Ayden Novak, who to watch, and some sleeper picks in this year's postseason tourney.
What's going on, sportscasters? Today I'm going to be talking about the Division 1 MHSAA Baseball playoffs for the 2025 season, a little bit of a preview, some predictions, and kind of just a way to hype up the playoffs this year. So I've got some state championship favorites and some state championship dark horses and sleepers for you today. So I'm going to start with my favorites. We're going to start with what the MHSBCA Michigan High School Baseball Coaches Association has had ranked as the number 1 team in the state for a good majority of the season now, and it's Bay City Western. Bay City Western has a 30-7 record, and they have just pretty much dominated almost every single opponent that they have faced so far this season, most recently playing Flushing and winning 5-0. They're just absolutely rolling through the season right now, and they've had a great road in the playoffs, starting the season with 2 huge wins against Brother Rice, who was in the preseason ranked the number 1 team in the state. So Bay City Western has just had some great momentum throughout the entire season, and you can expect them to make a deep run in playoffs and potentially win it all after beating some really good teams so far this season. Another favorite, right now they're ranked number 2 in the state by the Coaches Association, the Rochester Adams Highlanders, with a 26-8 record. They have also just kind of been rolling through every single team they've been playing. They've actually already started their playoff run. Most teams have not started their pre-district or district games yet. Rochester Adams has. They played on the 22nd, which was this past Thursday, playing Stony Creek, beating them 2-1 just barely. And now they got to play Utica Eisenhower in their next playoff game. However, with the 26-8 record, they've played a lot of good teams as well this season. They have also played Brother Rice. They did not beat Brother Rice, but they did lose in 2 very close games. They lost 4-2 and 7-5 in a doubleheader, which is very impressive. Brother Rice going to the state championship last season. They were kind of just the talk of the state coming into the season. Rochester Adams gave them a really good run. as well as beating some really good teams along the way. Another favorite, Warren De La Salle. They just moved up from Division 2, and now they're in the Division 1 playoffs. Warren De La Salle with a 22-8 record. Haven't played as many games as some of these other teams, but they're still rolling just as well as many others. De La Salle, most recently winning against Warren Woods Tower, the Titans, beating them 10-0. So they've got some momentum rolling into playoffs and playing teams from the OAA like Troy and Detroit Catholic Central. They have played some close games with those teams, some really high-quality baseball teams, and they could make a deep run in playoffs as well. Hudsonville's another one of my favorites. They have a 29-5 record. They've just been pretty much dominant. They have the best record of all 5 of my favorites that I have for you today. Hudsonville, it's a 29-5 record. Most recently, playing the Hamilton Varsity Hawkeyes, winning 3-0. They're actually on a 5-game winning streak heading into playoffs right now. So they've got good roll going right now, beating teams like Grand Rapids Christian, Lakeshore, and Hamilton on the way. Played Lakeshore and Hamilton in doubleheader. And they are ranked 4th in the state right now by the Coaches Association. Warren De La Salle ranked 3rd. And my final favorite, it just rounds out the top 5 of that Coaches Association rankings. It is Macomb, Dakota. They have a 36-1 record, 30 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. They have been rolling just as well as any of these other teams through the rest of this entire season. Most recently, destroying the defending state champion Northville Mustangs 12-0. They're on a pretty good win streak as well. They've played some great competition. They've played my Lake Orion Dragons. We lost to them in a doubleheader. Dakota is a very, very solid baseball team, and they are always near the top in the polls, near the top in the districts. So don't be surprised if they make a run as well. Now, some dark horses and sleepers. You might be surprised to see 2 of these teams really in the dark horse category instead of the favorite category. But I'm starting off with Birmingham Brother Rice, the defending state champion. They are one of my dark horses to win the state championship because they haven't had a typical Brother Rice season. They're 24-12. They've lost quite a few games compared to last year where they only lost 4 or 5 games on their road to the state championship. Brother Rice, though, you can never sleep on Brother Rice, led by Blake Illich. Blake Illich, the Ole Miss commit, and a phenomenal pitcher for the Warriors. Never sleep on Brother Rice. They could always make a deep run in playoffs, just like any season, really, in baseball. They're always near the top in baseball. So don't be surprised if they make kind of a sneaky run deep into the playoffs, even with a 24-12 record. As well as the defending state champion, Northville Mustangs. They're 19-13-1. Not the greatest season coming off of the state championship. Another team that my Lake Orion Dragons have played. We beat them twice, actually, in a doubleheader. But Northville, still a very solid team. Cannot sleep on them at all in the state playoffs here. Again, coming off that state championship win, they could always make a run deep into playoffs, as always. Now, the Romeo Bulldogs, another dark horse sleeper team that I have here listed. They kind of came out of nowhere this year. They've always been solid at baseball, but now they're near the top. They're in the top 10 right now, ranked, I believe, 7th by the Coaches Association. So Romeo has been very, very, very good this season. And they, like I said, came out of nowhere. They were nowhere near the top and did not make a very deep run in playoffs last year, but now could be one of those seasons where they make a run to states. Baseball is one of those sports where anything can happen and anybody can win. So Romeo could easily make a run deep in the playoffs coming into the district rounds here. 2 more sleepers. We're going to go with the Novi Wildcats. They won the state championship 2 years ago, and they're once again near the top in the top 15 of the rankings with a 23-12 record. Novi, always another good team. Like we said, 2 years ago, won the state championship. Northville won it last year over Brother Rice. So Novi, another team that could always make a run, as always. 23-12 is the record. And finally, Grosse Pointe South, another team that just kind of came out of nowhere. They're 30-7 right now. Grosse Pointe South has just been a complete shocker this season, ranked inside the top 10. They are number 8 in the state. They have most recently played the Rochester Varsity Falcons in a doubleheader. They split that doubleheader, and before that, they played Brother Rice and played them in a very, very tight game losing 2-1. But they've played just as good a competition, if not better, as some of these other favorites and dark horses that I've listed before. 30 wins, not easy to do in a high school baseball season when you're playing anywhere between 35 to 38 games. So they've been rolling really, really well. They did lose 2 of their last 3, but they've played great competition. They've still got a lot of momentum rolling into playoffs playing in their district.
All right, so those are some of the teams to watch as Ayden Novak explains it, one of the great contributors here at Sportscaster.com. So the MHSAA playoffs underway. Jared Ramsey, prep writer for the Detroit Free Press, has a really good article this week about some of the other teams to watch. Single elimination playoffs begin this week across the 4 divisions. District semis and finals are this weekend. Then regionals and quarterfinals will take place next week, June 4th through the 7th. And that'll set the 4 semifinal brackets, which will be played at Michigan State's McLean Stadium. State semis are June 12th and 13th, and the state championships will be decided on Saturday, June the 14th. When we come back, you'll meet the 2 men behind the uniform of Sparty, Michigan's beloved mascot. You are listening to Sportscaster.com's Open Mic on WJR.